Okay, hi Zoe. This is a new system I'm using for drafting, and I think and I hope it's much more accessible. Now, the first thing I will say to you, having read through your draft, is you have got to do some really serious editing. The editing is actually really poor. I don't think you've actually read it out loud to yourself. I don't think you've reread it because there are far too many very silly and avoidable grammatical errors, spelling errors, and expression errors. So I've highlighted a few of them, but I'm just letting you know that the actual editing is your responsibility. So I've flagged that up to you. Okay, now I've just highlighted some things in yellow and a little bit of spelling stuff I usually put in red. So starting analysing these two similar ice cream products that are targeted at two completely different audiences, show recent times of advertising of well-known products. This is an example of your editing, Zoe. They're not similar ice cream products. They are both ice cream, but they're actually not similar at all. So what you're seeing here is two different ice cream products, which have been produced and marketed for two very different target audiences. What do you mean show recent times? Are you saying that they've shown how far advertising has come and how sophisticated it's become as it adjusts to a 21st century audience? Now, purpose and form are not techniques, so you need to just check this. We're talking about the conventions of advertising. Yes, they both use the conventions of advertising, and they share similar purpose, but and I think possibly form, but they're just mainly different in target audience. So you just need to tidy this bit up. Purpose. Now, their purpose is not to sell ice cream. Their purpose is to sell either Paddle Pop Twister or Magnum, whatever the name of it's called. This Magnum Special Edition Double, whatever it's called. So just be careful of generalizations here, because it makes it seem as if you're not really understanding. There is the incorrect spelling of there, so you need to check that. Two different types of audience. Again, Zoe, throughout, you need to make sure that you are using the technical language of advertising. So we're not talking about types of audiences, we're talking about target audiences. Although the advertisements varies in target audience, they evokes the audience through the influence of emotional effects. Just go back to the PowerPoint. It was really very clear. The purpose of advertising is to make the target audience remember the product and to create a desire in them to purchase the product. And they do that through building a desire or appealing to a specific desire within or value within their target audience. Well, ice cream appeals to a desire, not a value, because there's no moral choice in ice cream. Thank goodness, Zoe, because we all like ice cream. So this is what you just need to be making sure that you are explaining a lot more clearly here, Zoe. You could say yes that it's creating or building an emotional desire. It's not a need for adventure, joy, and excitement in its young pre-teen 21st century target audience. And it's not between the company, it's actually between that product. Excuse my dog, she's very annoying, but quite sweet. Yes, this is a more mature audience. Again, you're sort of switching between purpose and audience here. So you are a little bit over, and I think you're going to need to be cutting these and making sure that form, purpose, and audience just address those aspects under each heading, because you've got a lot more that you need to do under your analysis sections of visual elements and language. So you're going to need to go back and tidy that up. Form. Now, I think you've misunderstood the form of the Paddle Pop advertisement. I don't think it is an online pop-up ad. It doesn't have an interactive button to click on. When I went and had a look at it much more closely, it just says visit now, and then has the website. There's no interactive button that you can see. So I think this is still a poster, or it's a poster. It's not an interactive so you're going to need to change this. Yes, they will be able to go to the website on their iPads or computers, and I don't think you're talking about Facebook or YouTube, because really the market that they are looking at it's pre-teens. And I did about half a second's Googling, and I found out that their target audience is a pre-teen, 21st century audience. Now, just don't abbreviate in formal writing. You know that, so I'm not highlighting it again. You need to just go through and make sure you take all of those out and put does not. I don't know what you mean by to click and invest their product. I think the fact is that both of these are print advertisements that would be placed on billboards and in shopping centres and bus stops. In places, you have to show your understanding. Their positioning is all. They're placed in areas where the target audience would be most expected to frequent. So where they can then go buy one. So, and I think you've gone into, again, too much sort of extraneous information here, extra information. Bus stops can be quite effective when advertising, but nowadays people drive. Well, Zoe, not everyone drives. A lot of people still get buses. So you need to observe as you're driving and check out the number of bus stops that there are along the road, and that every single one has an advertisement positioned in it. So I think you just need to tidy this up. There's too much, you need to cut it and you need to edit. And don't use I in formal English, and just make sure you show your understanding of where it would be positioned. The Magnum one might actually appear in a magazine advertisement. You'd have to think about that. Target audience. Yes, they are two different target audiences. Again, I've sort of alluded to this. You're looking at a preteen target audience for Paddle Pop, but this is a modern audience. They are computer savvy. That's why they say that you can complete the challenge. You can go to the www. And they know that they're going to be able to remember that pretty easily. And Magnum, you keep saying a mature audience. It makes it sound like they're advertising to old age pensioners. I think you're just talking an older and more sophisticated audience. Age between teenagers and adulthood. Well, that covers that's from 13 to 100 years old. So you need to just be a little bit more specific here. If you look at if you look at the model and the wording, release the beast, I think we're really looking at a sort of 20 to 30, perhaps, because it's quite, there's a sexiness to it that really is. That's why we're not really advertising that for 12-year-olds, even though they probably do like a Magnum. We all like a Magnum. So I think you just need to go and tidy that up. Cut, tidy, and just be much more to the point. Yes, and you've backed it up with dark, sultry. You keep saying harsh colours later. You need to change that. So Release the Beast, yes, that shows that it's advertised to a more mature audience. And make it clear, it's a very sexy ad for ice cream. So you need to go and tidy this up. Now, visual elements. Zoe, you've this whole section is just much too general. You really needed, and you need now, to go back to that Elements of Visual Language handout that I gave you, because you're not using the technical language of advertising, Zoe. You need to be talking about how the creators of the advertisements, or the designers, or the copywriters have used character or beauty and social standing, how they've used special effects, how have they used layout and graphics to focus the viewer's attention on the product or the slogan. What are the camera shots and angles? How have they used lighting and color? You need to go back and really tidy this up. You need to go and have a look at the Elements of Visual Language. You need to look at the advertisements that were attached and use those to help you now tidy that up with clear topic sentences. So you might say, both advertisements use graphics and layout effectively to focus their target audience on the product. Okay, then you go and you say, well, how does the Twister ad do it? Well, what camera angle? It's a high angle, isn't it? So you have this feeling of the energy and the fun of, is it Max the Lion surging up towards you, towards the viewer, holding on to the Twister. And you've got the positioning of, again, the product and the name of it right in the middle. With the Magnum, you've got the use of close-up and point of view and eye contact, and this sexy, sultry look, and the other side is the Black Panther. Now, check whether this was released at the time of the Black Panther movie, because it was. If it was, then that's really, really relevant. And again, they've got this close-up of the product so that you can see what it looks like, and it can create that desire in you to want to purchase it. So Zoe, you've got to go back and do quite a lot of work in this section. I've given you some tips. Now you go back and finish it off. The same with language. You need to go back to my PowerPoint and you need to read it there, because what you haven't done is actually analyze any language. You've got to analyze, well, what is the effect of Find the Twister challenge? It's issuing the target audience with, it's a command. Find the Twister challenge. It's a challenge and it's a command, and it's simple language that, not say 4-year-olds, but the sort of pre-teen audience that they are targeting will certainly be able to understand and relate to. I think, yes, you say that it's blues, but and that's a male thing, but the reason it's blue is because it's highlighting the colors in the flavor. So all of this use of color, and it is all about brand reinforcement. It's really making sure that we remember that Twister is blue and yellow, and you'll instantly be able to remember it. And then you've got this visit paddlepop.com.my now ! So again, you've got this use of command language that is really pushing and challenging their audience to get interactive with this. Again, this ties in with the target audience of pre-teens and this very computer savvy generation. Release the Beast. We've got internal rhyme here. Dare to go double. We've got alliteration here. For pleasure seekers. Again, that to me means it's for men and women. It is sexy. So Zoe, you've got to go back and have a good look at this. and then have a look at your conclusion.